Okay, welcome back to Continue Freedom. Thank you guys so much for being here. I want to welcome, by the way, we've in the past 24 hours, gotten a lot of additional subscribers, a lot of new members of the team, and I just want to thank you guys so much for coming. I truly appreciate it. But I do have to give a bit of a disclaimer, and that is that most of you guys, something to the tune of 89% of the people watching the videos, you're actually not subscribed. So it would be super helpful if you guys would go ahead and hop in there, hit the subscribe button. And I will also ask that you hit the subscribe button and the like button and the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video is released. This is, this is meant to be kind of a hangout. This is really what we're doing. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world. And, it's because we're concerned citizens. I mean, that's the type of community that we're creating here. A community of people who actually care about what's going on in this country, what's going on in the world. And I'm going to highlight, this is something I'm going to start doing. I'm going to highlight some of the folks who are commenting on these videos. Here we've got Thomas. He said, I used to be a liberal. In the last election, I voted for Trump. That said, I didn't change. The Democrat Party did. They absolutely cannot help. But this was in relation to the Jillian Michaels video that I posted, got a lot of views. They absolutely cannot help but to talk over anyone who disagrees with them. Lastly, I suspect that men who still vote Democrat urinate in a seated position. Well done, Thomas. I enjoyed that. I told him, I said, hey, that last sentence in that comment really got me. That was good. But we've got the haters. I did the same on the same video, by the way, the Jillian Michaels video. We had Anon, I'm going to assume anonymous. Do you also get your jollies from ASMR of the chains of human beings? Oh, good gracious. Virtue signaling. It is what it is. It's part of the game, And then this person here, invest and collect toys. Very fun, right? I'm going to assume still living with their parents, but okay, I get it. A sarcastic right-wing channel. Wow. And I said, yep, just a sarcastic right-wing channel replying to sarcastic left-wing beta males. Welcome, friend. Welcome to all the lovers and the haters. It's okay. You all have a place here. You can come and make fun of me. It's part of the game. So let's get right into the main topic for tonight. We voted for peace, and is Donald Trump going to be able to deliver? That's the question I've got for you guys. Do you think... Here's a question. You can put it down in the comments. Do you think that Zelensky wants peace? And do you think that Putin wants peace? Do both of them? Give me your thoughts. I'd love to know down in the comment section. Who wants peace? I've often wondered if Zelensky actually wants peace. He's profited so much off of this war, but Donald Trump says a great and very successful day in Alaska. The meeting with President Putin of Russia went very well, as did a late-night phone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine and various European leaders, including the highly respected Secretary General of NATO. It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war, and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. President Zelensky will be coming to D.C., the Oval Office, on Monday afternoon. If all works out, we will then schedule a meeting with President Putin. Potentially millions of people's lives will be saved. Thank you for your attention in this matter. This is what the Republican Party, the conservative movement, the MAGA movement, all these folks, we have been all about getting out of these foreign wars. Myself, again, you guys know it if you've been watching this channel, that I was a 21-year veteran. Half of it was active, and then the other half was reserved. I've been to war, been deployed, all that kind of nonsense. And I'm part of the movement that is sick of war. We hate war. I'm tired of war. And, I get it. It's a foreign country, and people are going to do what they're going to do. But, President Putin, people call him a war criminal. He is. I mean, in all respects, he is. And Zelensky was, we've seen his wife got the Bugatti. He's gotten the hundreds of billions. We've got the oligarchs in Ukraine that we're sending money to. This is just it's a debacle of a situation. And I want it to end. I want it to end because it's a drain on the taxpayers. I'm tired of the proxy wars. We were in a proxy war with Russia in Syria. We've been in proxy wars with Russia for decades. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the expenditure, taking American taxpayer money and putting it into other countries to try and manipulate governments. I'm sick of it. And Donald Trump is working to end it. Now, I was critical. If you guys watched my live stream yesterday, I was very critical about Donald Trump, who is still sending money and weapons to Ukraine. I'm tired of it. I'm not down with it. I'm not down with it anymore. But he is. You have to give him credit. He is trying to end it. And I just want to know your all's opinion. Do you think it's actually going to take root? Do you think that Trump's going to be successful in this? Do you think that Zelensky and Putin actually want to have peace? And I think that we have to temper our expectations as well, because, when it comes to it's a very complicated situation. And I've been reading about it and listening to people talk about it, and everybody's got very polarizing views on the whole situation. But I don't see a scenario where everybody comes out happy. There's always going to be compromises in circumstances like this. And do I think that Ukraine's probably going to lose a little bit of property? Yeah, they probably are. But at the end of the day, hundreds of thousands of people have died, and that's just that's the way the cookie crumbles. And we also have to remember, by the way, peace is a luxury. Peace is, war is the norm for mankind. We've been at war, in and out of war for forever. This is what we do. We are destructive. We're in a fallen world. War is the norm, and peace is a luxury. I'm not saying that to justify it. I'm just saying that that's the nature of the human condition. And in this instance, Putin did something he actually admitted, and I didn't pull up this video for tonight's live stream, but he admitted that if Trump had been in office, the war never would have happened. Now, you got to trace that back a little bit and start thinking, well, why exactly is that? What was your motive? Were your aims just that, unfounded? That, Joe Biden's in office, so I can go ahead and do this and snatch the land. If Donald Trump was in, it never would have happened. Hundreds of thousands of lives based on one election. What actually are your motives? And if you watch the Tucker Carlson interview, he hemmed and hawed around it. He knew the history of the area. People have said that it's because they're predominantly Russian origin of the people in the areas that he wants to take over, The guy's a scumbag dictator, but Zelensky is a paid actor who has been fleecing the American taxpayers. There's no good person in this situation. Let's be perfectly honest. And so, after the summit with Putin, Trump had an exclusive interview with Sean Hannity, and of course they talked about the peace deal and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to move past that briefly because really the primer for this was to get your guys' opinion on this whole Russia-Ukraine thing. I want to know where you all stand. But he had an exclusive interview, of course, with Sean Hannity. He's got to go to the mainstream media. Would have been better. I mean, how cool would it have been if he had said, all right, I just got through with these peace talks. I'm going to go back on Rogan and talk about it. But that never happens. I digress. This is what he was talking about with
he said
Sean
mail-in
Hannity.
Voting every election. He said no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive now instead of dead. And he said, and you lost it because of mail-in voting. It was a rigged election. But mail-in voting, Sean, the politicians, I think I'm going to make it a big, I know the answer, is that Jimmy Carter, years ago, along with Scoop Jackson and some others, they had a committee, respected people, good committee, Jimmy Carter, good guy. He's a good man. And the conclusion was you can't have mail-in voting. We have mail-in voting. It's so dishonest. They send stuff. Some people get 7 ballots. Look at California with that horrible governor they have. He's one of the worst governors in history. He's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. They send out like 38 million ballots. Some people get 5, 6, 7. But Vladimir Putin, smart guy, said you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. And he said there's not a country in the world that uses it now.
Oh, I would love to see election reform.
Well, we have to do it. I don't know why we're not.
By the way, there's a point to this. We're going to keep watching, but you have to remember, this is just like I was saying before. Elections have consequences. Elections have consequences, and this is the point that he's making. That this whole war, we talked about it. We can try to unpack Vladimir Putin's, his motivations for getting into this conflict and for invading another country. But at the end of the day, he said if Donald Trump had been president, this never would have happened. Donald Trump didn't become president. Joe Biden did. So we had Sleepy Joe in the White House. We did end up getting a war in Ukraine that cost the American taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars. And this is a very, very valid point in this whole conflict. Let's keep listening.
No, and you bring it up. The Democrats don't want it. Look, the Republicans want it, but not strongly enough. I mean, they got to want it strong because it can't be honest. It goes through a postman. It goes through somebody else. When you go to a really well-run voting booth, you go in, you have to hand a card, a picture, or this or that. You don't have everything perfect. You get sent back. Go get it. It's very hard to do something fraudulent with a vote.
Paper ballots.
Mail-in voting, they give you boxes of stuff. You have no idea where they came from. This mail-in voting, you can't have a great democracy, republic. You can't have it. Well, maybe that's why we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. I don't know. He probably is very happy with mail-in voting. But you can't have a great democracy with mail-in voting.
Okay. He goes on. You know how he does. He kind of goes and goes, sometimes a little bit longer than you wish he would, about the point he's trying to make. But it's a valid point. Elections have consequences. When the elections are rigged, the consequences can be dire, and not just in human life in a foreign country, but right here in America as well. There's a city council member. He's under investigation. I'm going to show you the video of it. This is, let's pull this up here. This is in Michigan. So this guy is under investigation right now. It's a city council member, won by dozens and dozens of votes, stuffing the ballot box, right? Stuffing the drop box. Wound up winning, by the way, by dozens of votes that he put into the ballot box. Elections have consequences. It's not just, on a national level. I focus so much on the national level, and I chastised myself for this, that in my local town, I pay all this attention to national politics. In my local town, we had some really nefarious stuff going on, and that's irresponsible on my part. We have to be able to watch all of it. But in that instance, you've got a city council member being investigated for stuffing ballot boxes. Donald Trump is saying, well, the same thing's happening at the federal level. We have to do something about it. If you guys, in case you guys need a refresher, this is for the folks that maybe never saw this, but this is just in California, right? If you remember, this was Adam Schiff, right? You can watch that change. Very interesting. Steve Garvey versus Adam Schiff. Steve Garvey went from whatever it was, 1.1 million votes down to 970,000 votes, and Adam Schiff skyrocketed to take the win, right? Whether it's the local level, the federal level, the House, the Senate, all of these things, we're in such a tight balance right now, such a tight split. And even with the stuff going on in Texas, where they've been going through the redistricting. And then, as I talked about yesterday, there's going to be a response to that from the Democrats. It's going to be in California. It's going to be in New York. It's going to be in other blue states. They're going to try to get additional seats. This is a fight we're going to be fighting in Texas. They did it. Florida is, there's rumors of it happening in Florida as well, trying to nab some additional seats. But elections have consequences. Hundreds of billions of our dollars went into a war because Joe Biden got elected. Hundreds of thousands of lives. It's a big deal. Now, we can make the argument, should we be that influential in other countries? Sure, we can make that argument. I don't, we've been extending our reach and our influence into other countries for so stinking long. And, you know, it's geopolitics. It's complicated. It's ridiculous. But we can't afford to. I mean, I'm going to play this. If you're sensitive to language, I apologize. But we've got our own problems here in America. This is why the America First movement exists, right? Because we've got people like this young lady. And again, I generally keep it PG-13. This one's rated R. Just listen to this. Listen to this lady's commentary.
So I don't normally ever come on here and post anything except of my dog because he's absolutely gorgeous. But I am extremely frustrated being a full-time employed person living in Florida and not being able to afford to live. I have spent my whole fucking day off trying to find a, more affordable place to live because I can't afford fucking $1,300 a month in rent and then fucking a $650 car note and then $300 in fucking insurance.
She went on and on and on and on, by the way. But the point is, this person says that she works like 60 hours a week and she can't afford to live. And this is one of many, many videos. Like they just on a loop. People can't. But what are we doing instead? We're sending our money into foreign countries to pay for wars in places that I couldn't care less about. That's what we're doing. So we're sending our money out there. The people that are working hard here can't afford it. And then we're dealing now with the situation of illegal immigrants in America. And it's not just again, Trump is fixing a lot of this. He's doing a really good job of trying to fix these problems, but they still exist. This is the type of thing that we're trying to undo. This is, I'll cancel the music, but this is an Indian truck driver making an illegal U-turn, and then he wound up unaliving 3 people. This is what happens. There's so many reports of these illegal immigrants in this country that have their CDLs, that are driving big rigs, and they're wreaking havoc on the American people. This is what Donald Trump's also trying to fix. But we've pumped hundreds of billions of dollars into that as well. It's the shoring up of the whole system. So I'm very optimistic and I'm very hopeful that he can come to a peace agreement. You know, it's good for the Ukrainian people. I don't want the Ukrainian people to be fighting a war that doesn't need to be going on. But at the same time, we can't afford it. And this is the same argument. I've had it with people, countless people, talking about USAID. They say, "Oh, but we have so much, we should be giving it to people." No, we don't. We don't have it. Every child born in America owes $100,000 to the federal government. No, we don't have the money anymore. Stop the wars. Stop funding them. Stop subsidizing illegal immigrants. Ship them out. Donald Trump is doing that. But it's not just, look, his administration, he is still fighting the deep state, which I'm going to assume that's why this is going on. This was posted by Laura Loomer, but we're bringing in Gaza refugees. Do we need to be bringing in Hamas people into this country? No, I don't think that we do. But they're bringing in a ton of people here into the United States. Who's going to pay for that? We are. Oh, but we have so much. We should give. No, we don't. No, we don't. We have $2 trillion deficits going on. We can't afford to pay for these people. Help them where they are. If you bring them to this country, they will become dependent. They will benefit our country in some instances, like if you're bringing in students or whatever. So, but you bring them here into this country, you are contributing to the brain drain in other places. A lot of them, the ones that came here illegally, they're just milking it. They're leeching off the system. How does that benefit the American people? It doesn't. And somebody made this post. They posted this one. These are some of the folks that came into America. Where are the starving people, by the way? The ones that we're supposed to be helping out, the ones that they say exist. Why did we bring in all the well-fed people? Why aren't we bringing in the starving people if that's your motive? Look, we don't have the money. We're broke. We're broke in America right now. And thankfully, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, said, you know what? We're gonna stop. They're gonna stay. They're gonna be, I don't know, they won't be detained, but they'll probably be in some facility somewhere until we can vet them. Okay, good luck vetting these folks coming from a Hamas-ridden part of the world, Islamic terrorist-ridden part of the world. I'm sensitive to their plight. I'm sensitive to the plight of the people in Gaza. But at the end of the day, they elected Hamas, an Islamic terrorist organization, to lead them. Does that mean that we need to be bringing them here into America? No. Absolutely not. We've got our own problems. And like I said before, we cannot afford it. Oh, but we've got so much. No, we don't. Your kids owe $100,000 to the government the moment they come out of their mother's womb. We don't have the money. Not to mention the cultural problems that we've got. Now, this is a good thing. I know I'm taking a sharp right turn on this one. It's okay, though. Howard Stern, his staffers are prepping for the show's demise. Withholding best material as future is uncertain. Okay, their best material. Does Howard Stern really have best material? So Howard Stern, this is from the New York Post, oldest newspaper in America, if I'm not mistaken. But the writer has been, the writing has, quote, been on the wall for well over a year now that SiriusXM wouldn't be renewing Howard Stern's colossal contract, and his employees have been taking advantage, coasting on the clock and trolling for new gigs, two current show staffers told the Post. This week, reports surfaced that the Howard Stern Show, his 19-year run at SiriusXM, was nearing its end with his $500 million contract expiring at the end of the year, and an audience that's apparently dwindled from 20 million a day to 125,000. Oh, I complain all the time. Part of this show is talking about the culture war, talking about who's winning the culture war. And people like Howard Stern are losing. He went from the guy who was breaking all the barriers and doing all the stuff that the censors didn't want him to do, and he was a shock jock. He was the GOAT in the shock jock era. He was the GOAT. Now he's become a woke lackey for the left. And everybody says, you know what? I can get that on CNN. I can get that on mainstream media. I can get that on every sitcom going on across the country. Let's just turn it off. Why in the world would I pay Sirius? I don't even know what it costs for Sirius anymore. But, why would I pay them $25 a month to listen to this trash? So they shut it off. And by the way, he's the same guy, in case anybody has forgotten, which you probably haven't, but he did stuff like this, right? This is at one of his big events. This is back in the day, not too far back in the day, but he would just humiliate women, right? This was his shtick. And they called it this is in 2004. This is just a reminder of the smut that this guy pushed, but they called it the Butterface contest. Everything's pretty Butterface, that sort of thing. That's the sort of stuff that Howard Stern used to push and can't now, right? Yeah, people got tired of that nonsense. They say, how in the world do I... Like, he's not doing that anymore. He's a political activist. $500 million, that's a very cheap price for the left to pay for a guy who had a huge audience. And I'm sure he influenced some elections and that sort of stuff. But he was a smut artist. That's what he was. He contributed to the degeneracy in this country. And degeneracy is a big problem. It really is. I've been listening to a lot of folks talking about it. But here's an example of the type of degeneracy that we're up against. This is a dude, right? A dude with a beard wearing a dress who gets his own Ulta display. It's degeneracy, right? People are tired of it. So this is why I say that we're winning the culture war.
All of her other new Ulta friends.
Here, I have to play.
Ian here is now at Ulta, and I'm here to see the display for the first time, you guys. Hi, honey. What's your name? Paulina. Nice to meet you, Paulina. Nice to meet you. What's your name, honey? Nice to meet you, Willow. We're gonna see what JJ
Sell your
like
Ulta
at
stock.
for the first time. It's gonna be Ulta fun. Okay, let's see it. Ah! Who is that? She's so pretty. I got highlights.
He is not pretty. Good gracious. What in the world? We're winning the culture war. This is what I love about it. I love it. I love it. We are winning. We're winning, that sort of stuff. Ulta's stock is going to drop massively. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. But no, anyway, guys, I'm actually coming up on the 30-minute mark. I was only planning on doing about a 30-minute one. If you guys have any thoughts, any comments, go ahead and hit me up in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. But Donald Trump is fighting the fights for us. He's doing a great job, and he's not knocking everything out of the park. I've had my own criticisms of him, and I'm going to continue to have my own criticisms of him. But it's our responsibility. We have to call him out when he's doing the right or doing the wrong things, and we have to praise him when he's doing the right things. He's a leader like anybody else. But I think we can all admit that what he's been able to accomplish in the first 7 months of his presidency has been amazing. It's been wonderful. And he's responding to the people. When we talk about these refugees from Gaza, these Hamas refugees coming into America, the fact that there's an uproar and they stop and they say, oh, well, thank you guys for bringing it to our attention. We'll go ahead and stop this and we'll start vetting these people. That shows they're responsive to the populace. That shows they're responsive to their base. And that's a benefit to all of us. It's a benefit to the American people, and we're moving in the right direction. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Be sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video is released. And I'll be back here on the next live stream. God bless you. God bless America, and I'll see you in the next one.